You don't touch me or what?
Bro,
what?
Bro. Oh my God!
What happens when the internet makes you famous, but for all the wrong reasons?
This 13-year-old started her 7th grade year as a regular California girl, and like most of her friends, she dreamed of fame.
4,000 views to 70,000 views in one night.
In 2011, a 13-year-old girl uploaded what many people still call the worst song ever made.
Biggest act of bullying in world history.
But it also launched a national debate about whether it really was the worst song ever.
10 years later, a pair of tattooed twins went viral for a freestyle so bad, even Snoop Dogg buried his face in his hands.
I'm an island boy, and I've been trying to make...
Two goofballs in the pool.
You know why I'm not speechless?
Why?
Because I'm an island.
Both Rebecca Black and the Island Boys became overnight sensations, not because people loved them, but because people loved to laugh at them.
Nobody wants to feel like the entire world is laughing at them.
But here's where their stories split.
Something to talk about, because people really don't like us, so like, hey, look, we got something on them. They kissed each other, so we kind of knew it would go viral.
Rebecca Black clawed her way back from global bullying to become a respected indie musician.
The tween pop singers become a huge overnight sensation
and is the hottest trending topic on Twitter.
16 million hits.
2 million downloads last night alone.
The Island Boys, on the other hand, spiraled into financial ruin, bizarre scandals, and legal trouble. One turned ridicule into redemption.
Bro, we were making $40,000 a day. More than that.
The other turned fame into a cautionary tale. And in 2025, their lives couldn't look more different. Today, Rebecca Black is no longer just the Friday girl. At 26, she's touring across the country, selling out venues filled with fans who actually want to hear her music. Her 2023 album Let Her Burn earned praise from critics, and in concert she even performs Friday again, this time not as a cringe anthem, but as a triumphant encore. The same song that once made her the internet's punchline is now met with cheers, proof of how far she's come. Meanwhile, the Island Boys tell a very different story. After peaking at nearly $2 million in net worth, the money is gone. Evictions, missed car payments, and desperate stunts like their infamous twin-kissing OnlyFans clips.
Going on with you two kissing each other and shit.
Shut your ass up before I break this shit.
Dude, hey, yo, that ass, I would love to see you try that shit.
Bro, what are you talking about?
I would love to see you try that shit.
Left them branded as a public spectacle instead of artists. In early 2025, Frankie Venegas, better known as Kodiak Red, was arrested with oxy pills and a gun with its serial number filed off.
I don't care, bro. You profiling me.
TikTok personality known as Kodiak Red is in trouble with the law again.
The judge gave Frank Venegas bail this afternoon for having a gun without a serial number and oxy pills.
For many, it was the final nail in the coffin of their short-lived fame. One name now draws respect, the other ridicule. But how did we get here?
Hey guys, it's Rebecca. Welcome to my official YouTube channel.
It all started when a 13-year-old from Orange County uploaded a music video her parents had paid for as a fun project. The song was called Friday. Within days of its release in March 2011, it was everywhere. Not because people loved it, but because people couldn't believe how bad it was.
All the kids are people that were friends of mine at school. I rounded up 10 or 15 of them, and I mean, it was truly filmed at my dad's house in like the driveway. So I didn't see a single version of the video before it went out. I was super critical of myself. I just remember the first thing that I saw was like this huge zit on my face. And I just remember thinking like, okay, so that's what I look like on camera. Interesting. Don't know how I feel about that. I had no expectations for what the video was gonna do. The most that I expected was that like it'll go out and then my grandma will maybe see it and then I'll move on with my life.
The lyrics were simple to the point of parody. The production sounded cheap, and the awkward teenage delivery only made it worse. Overnight, Rebecca Black became the internet's favorite joke. The video shot past 150 million views, branded by critics and commenters as the worst song ever made. And the reaction wasn't just harmless teasing. Strangers flooded her YouTube page with cruel insults.
You've seen some of the video parodies of your song? What do you think of those?
I've seen some of them.
Classmates mocked her at school. She was just a middle schooler. But the internet treated her like a villain. Some even told her she didn't deserve to live, all because of a silly, harmless song.
Rebecca Black, Friday.
It starts out and there's like this calendar and it keeps flipping through the days of the week while a cartoon version of her annoying face is sitting up there singing her little harmonies like, yeah, yeah.
You ugly! You can't sing! And instead of Friday, it ought to be Saturday, you ugly.
10 years later, another viral storm was brewing. This time, it was TikTok, the fastest engine of internet fame the world had ever seen. Two heavily tattooed twins from Florida, Frankie and Alex Venegas, stood shirtless in a backyard pool and started crooning a freestyle about being island boys.
I'm an island boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy.
Their pineapple-shaped hair, diamond-studded grills, and sing-song patois looked and sounded ridiculous, but it was hypnotically ridiculous. Within days, their clip was everywhere. Just like Friday, the Island Boy freestyle was mocked more than praised. Snoop Dogg called them two goofballs in a pool, and Kevin Hart couldn't stop laughing at their bizarre chorus.
Gang, gang, they got to use that word. I'm speechless. Two goofballs in the pool.
You know why I'm not speechless?
Why?
Because I'm an island. I'm an island boy.
But the ridicule only spread the meme faster. TikTok duets, remixes, and reaction videos piled up millions of views, catapulting the Venegas twins into the spotlight. Both Rebecca Black and the Island Boys were thrown into viral fame for the exact same reason. The world was laughing at them, not with them. The difference would come down to what they did with that attention.
You not from the streets, so I'm like looking at your profile and your profile picture. You're like, I don't know, like middle age, 40, whatever, and you watching 20-year-olds be successful. Number one, we came from nothing. Came from a lot of pain. Daddy died at a young age, and we had it hard growing up. Just basically what I'm just trying to say is, who are you to judge me and my brother? You don't know nothing about us.
How you know that we're not from the streets?
How you know?
Where'd you come up with that? You knew me my whole life. You knew him your whole
You know
life?
our whole biography?
Get out of here, bro.
For Rebecca Black, the crash came almost as fast as the rise. One day, she was just a kid. The next, she was the face of the most hated song on the internet. The bullying was relentless. Death threats poured in. Her parents briefly pulled Friday from YouTube and pulled her out of school, switching her to homeschooling to shield her from the abuse. At 13, she was already questioning if she could ever chase her dream of music again. And yet, small signs of support began to trickle in. Katy Perry invited Rebecca to cameo in her music video last Friday night, turning her into a cheeky Easter egg instead of just a meme.
You recently got to appear in one of Katy Perry's music videos. Tell us about that.
Oh, it was so fun. She's so nice, and I met some really amazing people, and it was cool to be able to work on such a big production.
That same year, Rebecca even won a Teen Choice Award for Choice Web Star. For the first time, people started rooting for her, not because Friday was good, but because she was seen as a kid unfairly dragged by the world. It was the beginning of a slow but crucial shift in how she was perceived. The Island Boys, on the other hand, decided to lean fully into the chaos. They branded themselves officially as the Island Boys, rushed out a polished music video of the viral freestyle, and doubled down on their meme status. But when they finally tried performing live, reality hit them hard.
I'll pull it like a trying to be the greatest, trying to be the finest. Yeah, I'm an island boy.
At Miami's iconic Club Live, the twins were booed off stage before they could even finish their song. Clips of the humiliation went viral, proving that internet curiosity doesn't always translate into real-life fans. Then came the infamous Logan Paul podcast. Sitting on the set of Impulsive, the brothers were given simple advice by co-host George Janko. Invest some of your new money, because famed when chart-topping rapper Kodak Black offered them a record deal, a legitimate chance at mentorship and resources. The twins said no. They thought they didn't need him. "We got racks," they boasted. In reality, they had just turned down the one opportunity that could have transformed them from a meme into musicians. Rebecca's immediate aftermath was about survival. The Island Boys was about self-sabotage. But what they did next would push their stories even further apart. For Rebecca Black, there was no sudden fortune. Sure, Friday earned some royalties, enough to more than cover the $4,000 her parents had spent to make it. But it wasn't life-changing money. She didn't try to squeeze every cent from the viral moment. Instead, she quietly started rebuilding. She took vocal lessons, learned to write her own songs, and began experimenting with different sounds. She even poked fun at herself, releasing Saturday in 2013 as a tongue-in-cheek sequel to her infamous debut. While most people were still laughing at Friday, Rebecca was slowly putting in the work to prove she was more than a meme. The Island Boys, by contrast, were suddenly drowning in cash, and they wanted the whole world to know it. Cameo shoutouts alone were pulling in up to $15,000 a night, with fans and businesses paying for personalized clips. They bragged in interviews about making $40,000 a day. Soon, they were flashing diamond watches, gold-trimmed cars, and a rented Florida mansion worth over $1 million. Kodiak Red posed with a Corvette C8, while Flisulia boasted about his gold-trimmed Bentley. Their mouths glittered with $60,000 grills, and they draped themselves in heavy chains. But behind the flexing was financial recklessness. Industry veterans saw it as a red flag. Two young men treating sudden internet clout like a winning lottery ticket. They weren't investing. They weren't planning for the future. They were burning through cash at a speed that guaranteed disaster once the spotlight faded. And fade it did. By late 2022, reports were surfacing of missed car payments, managers claiming unpaid debts, and rumors of eviction. Their once booming Cameo sales slowed as the novelty wore off. Even their YouTube channel, which had racked up more than 175 million views, fell dormant, cutting off another revenue stream. Rebecca Black chose the long game, invest in herself, not in jewelry. The Island Boys chose the short game, flex today, worry tomorrow. And as the money started to dry up, their choices would lead them down even darker roads. While the Island Boys were chasing clout and burning bridges, Rebecca Black was reinventing herself piece by piece. By 2015, she had already shown glimpses of real artistry. Her 2016 single, The Great Divide, surprised critics with its emotional depth and strong vocal performance. She auditioned for TV competitions, performed live shows, and started collaborating with other musicians. In 2021, she released Rebecca Black Was Here, an EP that leaned into hyperpop and electropop. Songs like Girlfriend and Worth It for the Feeling weren't just catchy, they were authentic. Critics praised her confidence and evolution, calling the record a bold reintroduction. Then, in 2023, her debut full-length album, Let Her Burn, cemented her rebirth as a serious artist. Outlets like NME and Out magazine praised her sound, describing her as one of queer pop's rising stars. On tour, fans weren't showing up to mock her anymore. They were singing along, celebrating how far she had come. Even Friday, once the internet's cruelest meme, returned as her victory anthem. The Island Boys took the opposite route. As their music flopped on streaming platforms, they leaned into controversy to stay relevant. They feuded constantly, with TikTok stars like Bryce Hall, YouTubers like Fauci, and even rappers like Blueface. Their home was raided after a guest was arrested in connection to a shooting.
I just want to send my condolences to the family that this tragedy has happened. It's very sad.
Frankie, aka Kodiak Red, faced multiple domestic violence allegations, including one arrest in 2023 for allegedly pushing his girlfriend into a pool. But their lowest moment came when they tried to monetize their infamy through shock value. In mid-2023, they launched an OnlyFans account that featured incest-themed stunts, including videos of the twins kissing each other. The internet exploded in disgust. Psychologists called it moral disengagement, twisting boundaries to justify behavior for money and attention. For many, it was the final confirmation that the Island Boys were no longer musicians, but clout-chasing caricatures. Rebecca turned her viral scar into fuel for reinvention. The Island Boys turned theirs into a spiral of scandals. And while Rebecca's reinvention drew her respect, the twins' desperation only deepened the ridicule. The clearest difference between Rebecca Black and the Island Boys wasn't just in their careers. The Island Boys never had that moment of humility. From the second their freestyle went viral, they convinced themselves they were stars. They weren't self-aware enough to recognize that people were laughing at them, not with them. When offered advice, whether it was Kodak Black extending a record deal or George Janko telling them to invest their earnings, they bristled, lashed out, and doubled down on their ego. Feuds, public fights, and eventually incest-tinged OnlyFans content, all in a desperate attempt to shock the internet back into caring. When critics called it disgusting, they defended it with bizarre rationalizations like, it's not really gross if it's twins. That wasn't confidence. That was denial. Rebecca's survival came from introspection, looking inward, accepting her flaws, and working on herself. The Island Boys' downfall came from ego, refusing to change, refusing to learn, and chasing shock value instead of growth. One found strength in humility, the other found weakness in pride. Rebecca Black wasn't alone in her fight to rebuild. When Friday went viral for all the wrong reasons, her parents shielded her from the worst of the spotlight, pulling her out of school and helping her navigate the chaos. Over the years, she found mentors in the music industry and allies in the LGBTQ+ pop community who encouraged her to experiment, collaborate, and grow. And when the trauma of her teenage years threatened to swallow her, she turned to therapy. The Island Boys had no such foundation. Their father passed away when they were just 5. By the time they were 18, their mother had kicked them out, unable to handle their behavior.
Well, my dad died at like an early age, like from a heart attack.
Okay.
So we didn't have a dad growing up. Like he died around 5, 6. You know, it's just normal single mom stuff. She struggled a lot, but she tried to make us have like a good life. Like she loved us and stuff like that. My mom, you know, mom's a Cuban lady. If you don't know how Spanish moms are, they're very loving. They're tough, but the love is real.
With no parental guidance and no industry mentors to keep them grounded, they entered the spotlight alone. And it showed. When they briefly had a manager, they ended up in public disputes over unpaid money. But that bond eventually warped into desperation, culminating in the infamous OnlyFans stunts that left the internet disgusted. Their lack of external guidance wasn't just a detail in their story. It was the engine behind many of their worst decisions. Rebecca had people to pull her back when she drifted. The Island Boys had no one to stop them from spiraling. And in the unforgiving world of viral fame, that difference was everything. By 2025, the paths couldn't be more different. Rebecca Black has done what almost no one thought possible. She's erased the punchline. Her debut album, Let Her Burn, earned glowing reviews. Her tours sell out to fans who genuinely want to hear her music. And even Friday, the song that once made her the most bullied teenager on the internet, has transformed into a victory anthem. Audiences now sing along not in mockery, but in solidarity. She's become a symbol of resilience, an artist who turned ridicule into redemption. The Island Boys, meanwhile, are remembered less for music and more for scandal. After blowing through nearly $2 million on cars, jewelry, and rented mansions, they found themselves evicted, broke, and desperate. Their cameo requests dried up, their YouTube channel went silent, and their music releases flopped on streaming platforms. The OnlyFans controversy may have bought them a few more headlines, but it also destroyed whatever shred of credibility they had left. By 2025, reports of debt, missed payments, and legal problems, including Frankie's arrest for drug possession and an altered firearm, painted a bleak picture. Rebecca's name now comes up in conversations about perseverance and second chances. The Island Boys' name comes up in cautionary tales of wasted fame. One turned internet mockery into a second act. The other burned through it until nothing was left. Rebecca Black and the Island Boys proved two sides of the same coin. Both were mocked into fame. Both were handed millions of eyeballs overnight, but one treated that spotlight as a challenge, while the other treated it as a shortcut. Rebecca endured years of hate, went inward, and came back stronger. She invested in her craft, leaned on her support system, and learned to own her past instead of running from it. Today, she's not remembered as a joke. She's respected as an artist. The Island Boys, on the other hand, believed their own hype. They turned down opportunities, burned through money, and chased shock value instead of growth. When the laughs faded, they had nothing left to fall back on but scandal and debt. Their story is now a warning, proof that clout without substance is quicksand. Viral fame is a double-edged sword. It can open doors, or it can lock you into a caricature. Rebecca Black turned the worst song ever into the foundation of a comeback. The Island Boys turned a meme into their downfall. So maybe the real lesson isn't about music at all. It's about what you do when the world hands you attention, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. Do you laugh at yourself, grow, and reinvent? Or do you chase the high until it destroys you? Because in the end, the internet never forgets, but it does choose who to respect.